everyone, it's Sal, Stretford Post. How you're doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone's doing fine. Thank you guys for joining me this morning. It's Friday again. Sunday, Monday, what? We are here, guys. Another week goes. Another transfer window slowly getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And we're not signing anyone yet. Or have we, guys? I'm going to get into that very, very soon. Before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash a like on the video if you guys can do that. And also, kindly put on your notifications as well. If I go live, you guys will know about it, of course. If you want to know about it, of course, guys. But let's get straight into the nitty-gritty of the Manchester United news. The Bryan Mbeumo deal. Of course, there are rumors yesterday that the Bryan Mbeumo, easy for you to say, the Bryan Mbeumo transfer had been hijacked again from Tottenham. Obviously, 2 days ago, there was rumors about Tottenham withdrawing from the process of signing Mbeumo. Now, I go with that one. Bryan Mbeumo, Tottenham and Bryan Mbeumo is not going to happen. Tottenham have withdrawn their interest. Duncan Castles is an old school journalist. I don't know why, but just wants to bring negativity onto Manchester United. And you know, every time we're close to a deal, wants to try and bring our spirits down, so to speak, if you know what I mean. And to be honest with you, it's not true. The Bryan Mbeumo deal is done. The Bryan Mbeumo deal will be announced very soon, guys. It is done. And then Bryan Mbeumo will be a Manchester United player next year, barring a catastrophe happens or something like that, will be a Manchester United player next year. Now, Bryan Mbeumo has already agreed personal terms. Manchester United sent another offer, not one day, about 2 days ago, sent a further offer to Brentford, and it is deemed that offer has been accepted, and Man United are about to move forward in regards to signing Mbeumo, guys. Take that what you will, but Bryan Mbeumo will be a Manchester United player next season. We have to celebrate. We have to be a little bit happy, guys, at the end of the day. At least we're going to get that one through the door, which is going to be happy, you know. I know it's not announced by your Ornsteins and your Fabrizios and stuff like under Manchester United, but you know what? It will be, guys. It will be. I'm pretty confident that Bryan Mbeumo will be a Manchester United player next year. Deal is done. And let's not listen to any outside influences in regards to Duncan Castles and people like that who want to put a downer on things, to be honest, because that's what they do. They put downers on things, of course, guys. But Bryan Mbeumo, the deal is done, guys. It's just ironing out the finer details. And we will be here in a couple of weeks, maybe in the 1st of July, or hopefully not. But before that, talking about Bryan Mbeumo is a Manchester United player. Thank God it's over the line. It is only still June. I know it is annoying. I know. We got a lot of work to do, guys. Man United got a lot of work to do, and it is frustrating. We got a lot of players to leave. We got a lot of players to come in. It is annoying, to be fair. And, guys, what can I say? We just have to remain, calm, but also cautiously optimistic and cautiously pessimistic as well. You can't be too optimistic in this day and age with Manchester United, of course. But moving on, guys, I don't know what you think about that, but let me read some of your comments before I move on. Of course, absolutely. Big up everyone who's joined me today. I hope you're doing well. Big up John O'Connor. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Emmy is on his way. Yeah, we're going to get into that. Big up. Albie, good to see you, Albie. Good to see you. Thank you for joining me. Is the confirmed deal? It is done. It is done. Nothing confirmed yet. No, it will be confirmed. Once it's confirmed, it'll be confirmed by the football club, of course. Big up, Tybo. What's going on? Good morning. How you doing, Tybo? Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you, of course. Absolutely. So good morning, Sal and community. This is my new favorite channel. Goalkeeper. Big up, Marky Mark. Thank you so much for the compliments. This lovely Friday morning, mate. It is Friday morning. We're loving it, mate. We're here. Absolutely. Good morning. Big up, everyone. Denbo, good morning. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Here we go. What happened very, very soon, guys. That's one thing. But even when here we go, let me just clarify something for you guys, right? Even if it's an Ornstein bomber or a here we go, doesn't mean that the transfer has been confirmed. The deal is done. It's not confirmed. So basically, when the transfer is confirmed, that means pen to paper on the contract. That's what it is in regards to the player in front of the Manchester United media. And whether you get your here we goes, whether you get your Ornstein bombers, it doesn't necessarily the deal is done. It means that the deal is done, but the obviously legalities of the deal haven't been done yet in regards to officially signing the papers. Mbeumo front of the media, and that's it. But Mbeumo is a Manchester United player. basically just waiting for those photos for Man United. We're waiting for him to come through the door and waiting for it to be clarified by Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein. Of course, good morning, Stephanie, you legend. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Hope everything is good with you, my friends. Good morning, Sanjay. How you doing? How you doing, Sanjay? Good to see you. Hope you're well, of course. Thank God it's Friday, Dabizas. This is what we like. You know what? When I was growing up, when I was at school, I loved Friday. I love Friday. I've even given myself a metallic Stretford Post logo because it is Friday, guys. I treat myself. Do you know what I mean? This is what we do, guys. It is all about that. We love it, guys, over here on Stretford Post. We enjoy ourselves. Absolutely. We're going to have a good weekend. Over here in the UAE, it's one more week to go before half term. They break up on next Thursday. They break up and then they're off all the way until mid-August. You know what I mean? Can you believe that? I mean, we got screwed at school, didn't we? And not like that, but I mean in regards to the holidays and things like that. Mbeumo to Spuds Bomber. Allow that, Dylan. Allow that, Spuds. Not going anywhere near Mbeumo. Good morning, Sal. Topspur, he want to go? No, he doesn't, Natty. He doesn't. He's already agreed personal terms with Manchester United. This news coming in from Duncan Castles, who is a very old school kind of journalist. Look, everything has all the respected journalists, Ben Jacobs, Fabrizio Romano, David Ornstein have all said that he wants to go to Man United. So at the end of the day, the deal has been agreed between Man United and Mbeumo. The deal has been going on between Man United and Brentford. Now, there are lots of media outlets out there who want to bring it down on things. They want to I don't know whether it's like a morale demolishing kind of thing. I don't know what it is, but they want to bring Man United down, so to speak, and Man United fan base. I don't know what they gain out of that. I know they don't like us, but there's a lot of Duncan Castles. Is not the one you turn to if you want news, of course, about Man United. Where's the outgoings? Some players are still here, best in class. Man United are very slow. Big up, Chow. Man United are very slow in regards to getting rid of players, but this is not necessarily their fault. What can they do if their players don't want to leave? The problem is that a lot of these players are on astronomical wages, as we know. We've been around this circle loads and loads of times. They are on astronomical wages. They're getting paid too much, and no one wants to pay that amount of money. People wouldn't mind paying the money in regards to the transfer fee, but when they look at the wages, they're like, well, you know what I mean? We can't really go near there because he's getting 300 grand a week. That's the problem at the moment. So obviously, Man United, in regards to Rashford and Sancho, those two will be on loan. I don't think they're going anywhere with a price. I really don't think that. I cannot see Rashford or Sancho going anywhere at the moment. In regards to Anthony, in regards to Garnacho, these players will be gone soon. That won't be too hard to do. But what I don't want, right, because we're talking about 40 million for Emi Martinez. Now, Emi Martinez is a great goalkeeper. He's 33 years old nearly. But it does look like Man United could be close to a deal with Aston Villa for Emi Martinez, of course. Aston Villa need the money due to their PSR and FFP debauchery, which basically means that they are in the red, right? So what I would say is that I don't mind Emi Martinez. That's great. We're looking for a goalkeeper, okay? But I'm not paying 40 million. That is a waste of funds. You don't spend 40 million on a 33-year-old goalkeeper. People go, but we bought Van der Sar. Van der Sar was 2 million. Now, what we're talking about here, we're talking 40 million, 20 million, 25 million at the very highest. We don't go for 40 million. I thought these were the best in class because at the end of the day, if they were the best in class, they'd be able to get the best price. Why is it that teams like Liverpool, teams like Man City in particular, can get these deals done and get them done cheaply? And you don't ever look at a Liverpool deal, apart from maybe the Florian Wirtz one, and say, well, they got ripped off there. They got right mugged off there. Look at them. They got rinsed there with that price. Bloody hell. You only do that with Man United, isn't it? It's only Man United who have these issues with, prices, and we got to be smart here. There are great goalkeepers out there. And there's not just Emi Martinez. I thought we had great scouts. I thought we got Wilcox in for scouting, for going to South America, for things like that. I thought he was here for that. Why are we paying 40 million for a player who's got 1 year left on his contract, guys? 1 year, right? And he's 33 years old almost, right? So come on. They got to be smart. If I see that we spend 40 million on Emi Martinez, I don't want them to be moaning about money ever again because firstly, they're rejecting 100 million. Then they're spending 40 million on Emi Martinez. They must have a lot of money because at the end of the day, what kind of football club in their right mind would spend that much money on a 33-year-old with 1 year left on his contract. Only Man United, isn't it? Because that's what we did with Mason Mount, isn't it, guys? Absolutely. Big up, Randy. Good morning. How you doing, my friend Randall? How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Keep it coming. I hope. Big up. Stephanie, early live likes, people. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Yeah, let's get up to 50 likes. Can we get up to 50 likes? Got up to 793 yesterday. Can we get to 53 today, guys? Thank you so much. Absolutely. He was never going to Spurs. I knew it. Damn it, he's not going to Spurs. Absolutely not. Once a player comes out and says that I want to go to a certain club, it's very rarely that the player would turn around and say, I've changed my mind. I'm not going to go down, change my mind. You know, it's very rare. So it's done. And, you know, Man United have been in advanced talks with Brentford. This is why the silence has been happening. Man United trying to work out a payment plan with Brentford. And that should be announced very, very soon, guys. But look, I don't agree with the silence from Manchester United. We're too quiet. You know, we don't communicate, which is concerning when we don't communicate because people speculate. And when they don't communicate, people get annoyed and they get frustrated and they say, look, this is getting annoying. This happened last season, by the way, guys. The same thing, right? And then suddenly they started going deal, and they started doing that. But the silence is deafening. I call it, you know what, some people can call it radio silence where they're doing things and they're, you know, a lot of things and they're, you know, but they're not announcing it to the public. They need to speak and communicate at the moment. But, you know, the reason they do, look, I'm not saying that, oh, you know what, they have to communicate with the fans, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about the duration that they take. Because of the duration that they take in regards to signing players, they need to clarify what's going on because the fans need to know what's going on. You know, because otherwise it's just going to create, an intensity within the fan base and an annoyance and anger within the fan base, of course, guys. So we do have to look at them and we have to question them. What's going on, mate? What's going on? Why are we taking so long? But Emiliano Martinez is a player that Manchester United are extremely admire. And he could be a Man United player next season. What do I make of that? I think it'll improve us a big time. It would improve us. Of course it would. But I mean, paying 40 million, it's not my money. It is our money. It is our money. I'm not going to say that. It is our money. Man United's money is our money. At the end of the day, we pay tickets, we pay merchandise, we put money into the football club. At the end of the day, even in this stream, we're putting money into this football club. So at the end of the day, what we do is this, right? We should look at that and say, okay, you're spending 40 million on a goalkeeper. We need a striker. Mbeumo needs to be done. Hopefully, that's done anyway. But we need a striker. We need a right wing back. We need a midfielder. You know, all these things need to all add up, don't they? And we can't just buy Martinez for 40 million. You know what I mean? Oh, but we spent 40 million on Martinez. You spent 40 million on Martinez because, you know what? You decided to spend 40 million on Martinez. Martinez is worth 20, 25. 1 year left on his contract, 33 years old. Absolutely. Big up, Rajat. Hope you're doing well. I'm good. Thanks. Big up, everyone, of course. Big up. Do you want to get Mbeumo that much? Do not want to get Mbeumo that much. I don't know why you don't want Mbeumo, Rajat. He's a very, very good player. I would question people's ball knowledge if they don't want Mbeumo. You know, I would question that quite heavily. Sorry, Rajat. We should nick the Millwall song. No one likes us. We don't care. Yeah, I mean, no one like exactly Mill. I think we relatively got that. I mean, at the end of the day, I think there were sections of the fan base, Bill, singing that last year. If I'm not wrong, I think there was an element of the fan base that was singing "No one likes us. We don't care." But they don't. The media don't like us. The media want to put a down on things. Anytime there's a positive that comes out of Manchester United, they want to put a negative spin on it. And this happens all the time. You know what I mean? And it makes me laugh. It really does. If you don't laugh, you cry. You know, but it does make me laugh because at the end of the day, what it is that they fear Man United. They fear a resurgent Man United. They fear a Man United that is coming back, the wounded beast, so to speak. You know, they fear that. And they're going to have to go next year and start saying nice things about Man United. God forbid the media, TalkSport, ESPN FC, saying nice things about Man United. Would you believe it? Oh, goodness me. Bloody, what's his name? Goodness me, I've forgotten his bloody name. Scottish fellow on ESPN FC. Absolutely. My goodness me. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, look, you know, this is the way Man United are. I don't mind us being hated, adored, never ignored. They copied it, Millwall, from us. Hated, adored, never ignored, you know, at the end of the day. I don't think anyone has time for Millwall these days, to be honest with you. I don't think anyone has time with them. But Man United are the most hated club in England. I genuinely think that. Man United are the most supported and the most hated in England in regards to the media and stuff like that. They definitely are, absolutely. Thank you so much, Natty. Big up. Thank you, Bill. Big up yourself. Thank you very much, my friend. Absolutely. 40 million on a goalkeeper on the decline. Look, Dylan, you know what I would say, right? I've said my piece in regards to Emiliano Martinez. He's not my first choice goalkeeper that I would be going for. He's not. There's many goalkeepers out there that I feel like would be more sufficient in regards to like Milinkovic-Savic, players like that, or a little bit younger. Martinez will be good for 1 or 2 seasons. I don't think he's quite the athlete like Van der Sar was that can go on to about 40. I don't. I think he has bozo moments. As we know, he's banned for the first 3 games of the season. You know, and because he got sent off against Man United, against Aston Villa. He does have those moments. But also, the thing with Emiliano Martinez, he also has those moments where he wins you the World Cup. Everyone knows that save he made against Mawani in the World Cup, don't they? Everyone knows if that goes in, that is France as the world champions. There's those moments as well. So we can't take that. But that was 4 years ago, right? 3-4 years ago. So what I would say is that now he's a little bit older. You know, he's been playing for Aston Villa a long time. Why would Aston Villa be so eager to sell their goalkeeper? You know, but for me, I don't mind if it was 15, 20 million. Man United get him last year of the contract, 33 years old, stopgap whilst we fix the attack and we fix the midfield and we fix the defense. That wouldn't mind me. But the fact that we're going to spend 40 million does concern me, if I'm being totally honest with you guys. Absolutely. Not good. Emmy, not good. Sorry. Sal, prefer to have a young goalkeeper than pay 40 million for Martinez. Very bad deal. I agree, Lisa, and it is a very bad deal. And you know what? I'm not going to totally believe what the media say, because the media, again, I'd be flip-flopping if I said that it was the truth. I'm hearing that Man United are close to a deal with Aston Villa and Emiliano Martinez. What I don't want to see, 35, 40 million pounds. I don't want to see that. I want to see 25. That's what 2025 tops. That's what I want to see. If I see 35, 40, I don't want them moaning about money at all within this transfer window. I don't want any more complaining about, oh, we got no money in this window if we spend 40 million on a 33-year-old, because I think that is a waste of money. There's Milinkovic-Savic out there who is also wanted by Napoli right now. Milinkovic-Savic is in talks with Napoli. Good goalkeeper, right? Why don't we go after him? Cheaper. Seli Lamens, one of the biggest up-and-coming goalkeepers, the new Courtois, in my opinion. He's going for 20 million. We've also got Kovar, who we sent to Leverkusen for 20 million. Well, less than 20 million, we can get him back. We've got a buyback clause on that one. We've also got Vitek, who's free, who's a decent goalkeeper, who's been doing well on loan. We can bring him back and see how he does. You know, this is what I'm talking about. You know, I don't want us to be spending unnecessary money on the team. Once our team is built, we got the attack, we got the defense, we got the midfield, you know, we sorted out and stuff. Then you could spend 40 million on a 33-year-old goalkeeper. Then I would say, I don't really mind about that, of course. Tybo. United transfer windows are like those South American TV series filled with drama. Why can't we just be efficient for once? That would be refreshing. It would be, Tybo, and I'm tired of it, honestly. You know, Tybo, before the season ends, I always have this little bit of fear, you know, because I know we've been around this block many, many times. And I've seen Man United sign players, even under Alex Ferguson. Like, let's get straight, right? Even Alex Ferguson, we used to do this. We used to sign players late. You know, we used to sign players during the season. Of course, Dwight York famously signed for Man United with 1 game into the season. He already played for Everton. He already played for Aston Villa against Everton. And then he signed for Man United. Wayne Rooney, the same thing, of course. Guys, he signed a couple of games into the season. Actually, a few games in the season. And he ended up signing when we played the Champions League game against Fenerbahce. And we all know the Champions League starts a couple of weeks after the league campaign starts. So, you know, we've done that before in regards to Alex Ferguson. But back then, we weren't in a position to be desperate. Right now, Man United are in a desperate position to sign players. And Man United are also in a desperate position to get rid of players. So I want them to get a step on. I want them to move on because, look, you know what? We've been talking about Mbeumo for a very long time. And you're tired, I'm tired. I just want to say, here we go. Mbeumo, Manchester United player. It's been done and dusted. And it is done. But we're not announcing it and we're keeping people on edge. And this is what I mean about communication. And, and it's frustration. No communication equals frustration. That's basically what it means. Absolutely. Big up Tyborg. Jeff. Good morning, Sal. Good morning, United. Nice to see the deals are being done in good pace, main focus. Good pace is a different thing. I think Man United need more done. Man United need players to leave. After this Mbeumo deal is done, Man United will need players to leave. That is a fact at the end of the day. So we need to get moving in regards to that. Although Man United have 250 million to spend in regards to the FFP, they're not going to do that. They're not going to spend the full 250 until they get rid of a few players. You know what I mean? So obviously to get some leeway in regards to that. But Man United will be hopefully getting rid of the likes of Anthony, at least. You know what I mean? And obviously Garnacho if he wants to leave. There's also up in the air in regards to Kobbie Mainoo. Kobbie Mainoo is a little bit of a confusing one. What's going on with him at the moment? Nothing at the moment. We've offered him another contract. If he rejects that contract, what do we do, guys? Do we just sell Mainoo? Do we just move on from Mainoo? What do we say about that? Now, guys, I want to get into it a little bit about a player that I mentioned on the show many months ago, has been linked to Man United again as an alternative for the likes of Gyökeres, for the likes of Osimhen. There is players that Man United are linked to. Nonetheless, in regards to it, it is Tolu Orokodere. Tolu Orokodere, guys. He is a player who plays in Belgium, guys, basically for Genk. Scored 21 goals in 40 appearances this season for Genk. And very highly rated player, of course. He's only, listen, guys, he's only 25 years old, guys. He's about 25 years old. So, you know what? 24 years old, going on 25. So relatively young. Tolu Orokodere, or we just call him Tolu from now on, absolutely, is obviously a player that we mentioned on this channel a while ago. It would cost about 80 million euros, probably be up to about 25 million euros, guys. 4 caps, 1 goal for Nigeria. Decent player. What do I make of this? I don't know what Man United are doing in regards to things. I think, what are they doing? Looking for the new Osimhen, because he is a Nigerian international, of course. What are they doing? Are they looking for something like that? He has got 21 goals this season, though, for Genk. He's got just over 1 in 2 goals per game. So, you know what? It's not too bad, but I am happy that we are looking for alternatives, because at the end of the day, I don't think we're going to get Osimhen. I think it's very unlikely now that we're going to get Osimhen. I think that is dragged out too much, and I'm not hearing any noises from the Osimhen camp to suggest that he's going to come to Man United. I'm not hearing anything at the moment. So that could change, of course, in a couple of weeks or something like that. But at the moment, I'm not hearing any noises saying that Osimhen wants to come to Man United, at the end of the day. And if Osimhen does come to Man United, we're going to have to pay premium wages on Osimhen, because Osimhen wants Champions League football. So that is obviously a concern. With Gyökeres, obviously, Gyökeres is a player that has been causing us a lot of headache this summer. Is he coming? Is he going? Should I stay? Should I go? Agent getting involved, etc., etc. Nothing at the moment. It's gone a little bit quiet in regards to that, but you may hear some more noises coming out of Man United once the deal for Mbeumo is done. Man United are obviously working on one deal at a time, whilst working on an Emiliano Martinez deal with Aston Villa. Obviously, he's got 1 year on his contract. You can't really count that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Emiliano Martinez is desperate to come to Manchester United. He wants to go to Man United. Of course he would at the end of the day. So, look, that's not a problem. But obviously, once we get the Mbeumo deal through the door, we'll be able to get the striker sorted out. Absolutely, guys. So that will be encouraging going forward. Of course. Big up United Road. Good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Heard a rumor that we bought Emmy for 40 million and then buy Sancho. Heard a rumor that we buy Emmy for 40 million and then they buy Sancho. Oh, look, you know what? If that happened, Bill, I would applaud Ineos if that happened. But I just can't see any reason why Aston Villa would spend money on Sancho. I cannot even think about a team wanting to spend money on this guy. This guy's an absolute fraud, man. He's a fraud, and he's an absolute troublemaker. So I cannot fathom how anyone would want to buy Jadon Sancho. There is rumours about Newcastle United wanting to purchase Rashford. What they want, they've already got Anthony Gordon in there and other players. Is Anthony Gordon going to Liverpool, or is Anthony Gordon going to Chelsea? Something like that. What is it? Look, at the end of the day, we're going to hear noises. And one thing I'm very wary about is agent noises. So a lot of these players get noises from agents. And basically what it is to plant a subconscious message in your brain to say that, you know what, other teams want him. And it sort of sends a message around Europe. Jadon Sancho's available. What about him? You know what I mean? And I mean, for us, we know Jadon Sancho. Other teams might not know the nitty gritties about Jadon Sancho. You know, for us, we know him. Dortmund know him, but Dortmund, they're brothers in disguise. Dortmund don't want to buy Jadon Sancho. They wouldn't mind loaning Jadon Sancho. Of course, we wouldn't mind anything for free. But, you know, they don't want to buy him. They can't be much of a family member if they don't want to rescue him and get him some freedom, which he's been talking about for a very, very long time, guys, of course. But if we manage to sell Sancho, Rashford, Anthony, if we sold those 3 players alone, I would be extremely impressed. I would be extremely impressed. And also, if we manage to sort out this Luke Shaw business, because this Luke Shaw business has been hovering around a very long time as well, you know? I don't think we're going to sell many. I don't. I think we'll probably sell about 3 or 4. I mean, we should be selling about 10. I've already worked it out. We've got 10. We've obviously got Ericsson, obviously Lindelof and Evans leaving the football club. That's 3. I think if we get rid of 4, that'd be 7 who's left the football club already. So I think that will be okay. That will be okay. We can't do everything in one window. But obviously, getting rid of the players, as long as they're gone by the 1st of September, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. But the key is that we get the players in. But what I don't want Man United to do, I don't want Man United to bring in these players on the preseason tour. I don't think we need them. We don't need them. We don't need Sancho. We don't need Rashford. We don't need any of these players on the preseason tour. They're just going to be a distraction, guys. We don't want any more negativity. No toxic environmental bloody bull that we've been occurring many, many years now. You know, we've had enough of that. We need to start a clean slate of these players, these new players who come in, start the preseason. This is the culture. This is how we're going to do things. Those players are not how you do things. And that's what happens when you don't follow the rules. You're out of the door. And that is how it should be at the end of the day. Natty. Sam Martinez is a good goalkeeper, a little bit overrated, but he's overrated. Look, at the end of the day, look, you know, it is subjective. It is subjective. I think he's a good goalkeeper. I do agree with Natty there. He is slightly overrated. But one thing that is evident in regards to Emiliano Martinez, he came from the youth. He came from non-league football, and he moved all the way up in a small amount of time to the World Cup final. Now, for me, that's a great story. That's an amazing story, what he has done. You know, it is influential, inspiring. That is inspiring. He's still rusty because he is like a goalkeeper that has been raised through the ranks and played non-league football and stuff like that. He makes bozo moments. But it would be an extreme upgrade on Onana, in my opinion. An absolute incredible upgrade on Onana. There won't be no competition in regards to that with Onana. Absolutely. Dan, my friend, Naira Dan, can we get Sam from Porto? We've been talking about him for a while. Obviously, very, very decent player, striker. You know, is that Spanish international? Look, you know, I like the player. What's he scored this season? 30 goals, something like that. 27 goals, 30 goals, something like that. But, you know, I would say Samu is a player that I would go for as well. I know that Man United have got him on the radar. Man United have had him on the radar for a while now, you know. And whether they get him or not, it's another story. Yeah, he's got 30 appearances, 19 goals in the league. Now, and obviously, he's got a couple of caps for Spain and a couple of goals as well. Only 21 as well, you know, and his market value is about 50 million euros. So what can Man United do? They could probably get him for about 60 million euros. Look, these type of players, 2 caps for Spain. These type of players, right? If Man United get Mbeumo, if Man United get Cunha, having a Samu Agahawa up front as well, right? Having him up front as well is the focal point. It will be good. I'll be happy with that. And he makes a good point because that is a good player. It's a good player. Why are we not looking more? Why are we not exploring this still a little bit more? Because we're not front runners in this still, guys. We're not. You know, there are teams who are front runners. I mean, look, Newcastle United are 98% in for Agahawa, right? Newcastle United, right? They're 98% in for it. Man United are 58% in for Samu Agahawa, right? Then it goes on to obviously Chelsea 8% and Aston Villa, right? So look, we need to make up our mind. Gyökeres and Osimhen are giving us a big headache at the moment, right? But we have not made a bid for them yet. We've not tested the waters to them yet. Maybe when we sign in Mbeumo, we're going to start testing the waters. As I've said many, many months now, Man United have a gentleman's agreement with Gyökeres. Now, what is in that gentleman's agreement? What's in that? Is there any stipulations in that gentleman's agreement? Whether, you know what, if you qualify for the Champions League, I'm gonna go to you, sort of thing. We don't know that. If I was a fly on the wall, I would tell you. But yeah, we need a backup plan. Agahawa is a backup plan, and he is only 21 and he fits the bill perfectly, in my opinion. Of course, Man United played against him early in the season, scored a goal, didn't he? 3-3 draw. Yeah, look, you know what? There are strikers out there, guys. There are strikers that we can get. But I'm a little bit concerned by the lack of scouting, what's going on. I'm a little bit concerned about that because I thought we got these people in to scout, you know, to get the next best thing. But I'm not seeing anything in a way of strikers yet, only defenders. Pablo, good morning. How you doing, my friend? I'll be doing well. Emmy, overhyped player from the World Cup, which is 3 years ago. Pablo, you know what? As I've said on this channel, Pablo, he's not my first choice. He's not the goalkeeper I would be going for. I would be going for another goalkeeper who's a little bit younger, who's going to be between the sticks for a longer period of time. That's what I'll be doing. You know, so I'll be thinking about that. Not thinking about the thing is, we have to look at it like this, right? If Man United get the strikers in, right? If we run out of money, you know, what we're gonna do? We're gonna have to keep Onana. You know, I would much rather Martinez than Onana. Right, Martinez is the one who's coming out and saying that I want to play for Man United, blah, blah, blah. I would prefer it to Onana. I think Man United would be incredibly better off with Martinez. I know he's overhyped. I know. But you know what? It's easy to say that he's won a World Cup and that's it. He won them the World Cup. Messi didn't win them the World Cup. Martinez won them the World Cup because that save against Mawani was amazing. No, so he's still a good goalkeeper. He played well this season. But the only thing, obviously, he's got to cut out the bozo moments that occur in his game, of course. I'm only waiting for here we go. I'm waiting as well. Hans, big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. Prosper Frank, good morning. How you doing, my friend? Have we signed both? Dill agreed, mate. Dill agreed. So hopefully it should be anytime soon, mate. You're going to see here we go very, very soon. Whether Man United drag that out, that's entirely down to Man United. They got a habit of dragging these transfers out, getting the finer details done. Man United just have to iron out a few details, finer details of the deal, and then it's done. Basically, in a nutshell, Man United came in with a second bid for Mbeumo, and the deal is almost done. So basically, the deal is done, but Man United just need to iron out a couple of details in regards to inevitabilities, and he will be a Man United player unless something ridiculous happens. Right, so there you go. And in regards to Duncan Castles and people of that ilk, in regards to those media outlets, don't bother with them. Don't really worry about them. They're not really top tier journalists. They're just talking for the sake of talking because they want to bring it down on Man United, of course. I repeat it, when it comes goalies, I would go for Santos of 23 years, but an extremely good goalkeeper and would cost 20-30 million, I guess. It depends, isn't it, at the end of the day? Martinez is Premier League proven. If we can get 20 million for Martinez, then I'm happy. But if we get him for 40 million, I'm going to be very disappointed because, as you said there, Tyborg, there's great goalkeepers out there for less the price, you know. And I would be extremely disappointed because I'm of the believing that they said that they're going to got players for cheaper. They're going to be the negotiating kings and stuff like that. You know, they know what they're doing. You know, they're not going to be held to ransom and stuff like that. If we go and sign Martinez for 40 million, it contradicts all of that, doesn't it? You know what I mean? When there are people of Frankfurt goalkeeper Santos, of course, Santos, we've been speaking about for the last months. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Big up, Tyborg. Dylan. Villa will take the cash and buy the next. Absolutely, Dylan. That is what I'm concerned about. Villa will take the cash and go and buy Milinkovic-Savic. Do you know what I mean? That's what they'll do. You know, that we need to stop doing these things, you know what I mean? Taking the leftovers, right? Martinez is a fabulous goalkeeper and will improve us, right? I know that. But there are better out there for a much more reasonable price. I'm telling, if Ineos were listening to this stream, if they were listening to me, don't spend 40 million on Emi Martinez. It's not the way to go. You know, he's not an athlete. He's not Van der Sar. He's not going to play till he's 40. I want that notion completely deleted. Oh, he's a goalkeeper. It doesn't really matter. He's a goalkeeper. You know, he's gonna be, you know, he's gonna play till he's 40. He's a goalkeeper. Nah, not me. Absolutely. Jeff, the Mbeumo saga is being focus point. Just glad Emi Martinez wants United and that they are communicating with other players. Very good, but United fans, we should be calm. I agree with that, Jeff. I am very calm. Absolutely. Big up, Jeff. Lord Rodney of big up, my friend. Long time no speak, my guy. I hope you're doing well. Good morning. Hope you're well. Good to see you, mate. You're still on loan to Leeds, Rodney. Are you still on loan to Leeds? He's still on loan to Leeds. Should take a leaf out of Forest's book. Forest are very good in the transfer market. Look, you know, one thing I would say about Forest and Brighton, for that matter, guys, in regards to that, they do deals very well. Look, I look at Brighton, I look at Pedro, I look at Baleba, right? I look at them and I think, look, where are they getting these players from? Where are these players coming from? Because at the end of their scouting is excellent. Why can't we do scouting like that? Why do we always have to have a middleman? You know what I mean? At the end there, why can't we go directly to the source? You know what I mean? It's just crazy, isn't it? That other teams are showing us up, as usual, in the transfer market, you know? 40 minutes too much. Big up, James. What's going on, my friend? Molamiku, good to see you, my friend. He is one of the most consistent players for Brentford. One of the most consistent players in the Premier League. Natty, they take too much time to negotiate saving. If we are run like a football club, we cannot do. This is what you get with Ineos, though, isn't it? The penny pinching FC. And this is exactly what we envisioned a long time ago, that we're going to get penny pinching FC. We've already got penny pinching with the job cuts and stuff like that. You know, this is what we're going to get. Taking our time, walking to the right destination, not running to the wrong destination. That's the quote, isn't it? You know, that's what they want. Oh, Man United are full of little quotes and, you know, little sensationalist little words like bring the Manchester back in Manchester. We need to bring the United back in Manchester United. That's what we need to do, because we're not united at the moment. That's for certain. That's what we need to do. Forget about Manchester and bloody geography. Think about the United in the Manchester United fan base. How do you make Man United fan base united? Uniting people, talking to people, communicating with people. That's what you do. You don't just keep your cards close to your chest like this and not communicate with the fan base and just spend weeks and weeks and weeks with one transfer. You know what I mean? It's madness. 40 million is basically a World Cup, tax included. Yeah, there you go. The Kenny, big up Kenny. Absolutely. World Cup merchant. There you go. Big up. We used to get a chant, attack. Maybe it'll come back this season. Bill, you know what? I miss those chants, don't you? I don't. I mean, at the moment, it's score. Please score. Please score. Please score. You know what I mean? We don't score goals. We get one goal a month if we're lucky. Do you know what I mean? Goodness me. You know, Man United need to start scoring goals. We've been notorious over a history of scoring goals. And over the last couple of years, we've been dreadful at scoring goals. Man United need to get a move on in regards to scoring goals. We're poor. We're one of the worst in regards to our stature as a football club in scoring goals. The size of our football club in scoring goals, we're the worst in the world. Definitely. Big up, Miles. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Martinez is a good goalkeeper, not 40 million. Surely there must be a cheaper option, even in South America. Absolutely. There must be some league in the world where we can get a keeper, cheaper sale. You're the best. Thank you so much. You're the best, O'Reilly, Mr. O'Reilly. Thank you so much for joining me. What I would say about that, you're absolutely right, Miles. Do you remember Romero? You remember Romero, where we got Romero? Look at Romero. Romero never put a step wrong at Man United. Never put a step wrong at Man United. 10 times better than Onana. 10 times better than Onana. How much did Romero cost, guys? You know what I mean? How much did Romero cost? Never put a step wrong. There's goalkeepers everywhere. Look at the Paraguay national team. Look at the Venezuelan national team. Look at the Mexican national team. You know, then again, don't look at the Mexican national team. You remember the Mexico goalkeeper from the 1994 World Cup? Goodness me. The original Onana. Jeff, Martinez's price should be about 25 million at least, but the striker part, we should really go for an Osman. And if we can get a Tikiki, that would be a bonus. Otike is not going to fit the system. Otike, we've already got skillful flair, cutting in, shoot players. Ahmad is one. You know, we don't need another Ekatike. We need another number 9 like Osman. But the noise is surrounding Osman. If Osman don't want to come to Man United, then it's no point. He don't want to come to Man United. The only way he's going to come to Man United if we offer him stupid wages, you know, which is going to obviously hurt Man United in regards to FFP and stuff like that. So, you know, if Osman is not giving any signs that he wants to come to Man United, if he's not putting himself out there like Martinez, I want to go to Man United, then I don't think we should really be bothering about him, to be honest with you. You know, I don't. He's not R9. You know, he's not Ronaldo. He's not Alan Shearer. You know, he's not Rooney. He just needs to just calm down a little bit, because at the end of the day, the way he's going about things is like he wants this way. No wonder Napoli kicked him out. You know what I mean? Napoli don't kick anyone out. They're very loyal. I'm married to a Neapolitan, right? They're very loyal people. They kicked him out. No wonder they want to get rid of him. Why do they want to get rid of Osman so bad? You know, It's because he's like this. Mercenary. Lee Davis. Evening. Good evening, Lee. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Fex. Yesterday said, yeah, the deal is closed. Today, deal update. Yeah, it is close. It's done, basically, Fex. Yeah, it's absolutely. It's done. And, it is close. It was close yesterday. Closer now. There is such thing as closer as well, Fex. I don't know if you know about that sort of thing. Like, if there's this thing like this, look, it's pretty close, right? It's closer now. It's closer now. It's closer. There you go, mate. Talk you a little bit something about the birds and the bees. Big up. We will be there if we win the first 5 games. What did you say after that? Then we cry. We will be there if we win the first 5 games. What will they say? They will have to say something. They will have to say something nice, Natty, about Manchester United. They would have to say something nice about Man United, and I would be here for it. I'll be there with my popcorn like this, watching it, replaying it to you guys. You know, like an action replay, slow motion a lot. Absolutely. Big up, Raja. Big up, Helge. Good morning. Saladino. I like that, Ronaldo. I like that. Why didn't I get named that? For goodness sake. The Osman dream is over. I'm now heading towards Mr. Super Mitrovic and Ballon d'Or. Ain't nothing going to stop it. I mean, you know what I would say, Helge? I obviously sent you a tweet yesterday in regards to Mitrovic. I meant it in tongue-in-cheek, but I rate Mitrovic. I've always rated Mitrovic. Because he's playing in Saudi Arabia now, people are like, oh, no, I don't really want him. He's playing in Saudi Arabia. Mitrovic is a great striker. Mitrovic is a great striker and be a fraction of the price that that players are going for at the moment. You know what I mean? Put the ball in the back of that. Premier League proven. Absolutely. Big up. Relax it. Mbeumo's coming. Absolutely, Jeff. Get Roma keeper, FC board. Anyone, brother. Anyone, Raja. Anyone but Onana, mate. Get him in. What's his name? What's that Forest player's name? I've forgotten his name now, but it slips my mind. Let me get it. 1 second. Anderson, isn't it? Is it Anderson? Oh, I like Murillo. I like Nikola Milinkovic. He's good as well. Alex Moreno's not bad. Yeah, Murillo. Is that Murillo guy? He's good. He's bloody good, yeah. But where are they getting him from? It's a bit like Rodney. It's a bit like Crystal Palace with Munoz, isn't it? When they got Munoz. Where are they getting these players from? They're scouting these players and, they're becoming superstars. And then other teams, they're selling them for 2, 3 times, 4 times the wage, of course. The money. It's mad. Good morning, Mark. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Sal, is it true Amaran's first choice keeper is Diego Costa? Probably, Natty. I'm not saying yes. I do know that he is an admirer of Emiliano Martinez, but what I would say is that if I was going to put a bet on it, the goalkeeper that Ruben Amorim would want is obviously Diego Costa. The thing with Portuguese, right? There's nothing wrong with this. But people would jump on it if it was British, right? If Ruben Amorim was British, if Ruben Amorim was Potter, and Ruben Amorim was going after, for example, Ramsdale, right? And and then he was going after, let's say, who else? Gui, right? People were saying Brexit, tax, Brexit this, Brexit that. They'll be saying things like that. Ruben Amorim wants Costa. The reason he wants Costa because he knows Costa is Portuguese. That's it. Costa's a decent goalkeeper. He's not the best. If you watched the game against Man United earlier in the Europa League, you would know that he's not the best goalkeeper. He made a couple of mistakes in that game, notably from Rashford when he let it in from a very silly angle. So look, I would be happy with Costa. Is he the best choice? Nah, he's not. I think there are far better goalkeepers than him. But will I be happy? Yes, I would. And in my opinion, if Ruben Amorim had a choice between all these goalkeepers, I think he will have Costa as his main goalkeeper. I would. Absolutely. Leeson, spend 40 million on Kua Santos or Cavalier. I agree with that, Leeson. Also, there's also Restes, Guilherme Restes, the next French up-and-coming goalkeeper for Toulouse. Very good goalkeeper, guys. Go and have a look at him. Restes, brilliant goalkeeper. Absolutely superb. Alan, what's going on? If United needs to back, must sign Mbeumo, period. If United to come back I agree with that, Alan. Big up, Alan Ibrahim. Hope you're doing well. Milinkovic-Savic for 15 million. VTech back. Boom. Problem solved. Getting Amitrovic would also give us much more funds as well. There are so much smart things we could be doing, but we won't. Incompetent. I agree with that, Helge. I agree with that. Obviously, nothing is inclusive of everything. You know, there are obviously stipulations and complications with regards to things, but you make a very good point there. Why don't Man United just do that? You know, it would strengthen Man United. You know, if we got Milinkovic-Savic, Vidic, VTech, and players like that, you know, it'd be a lot better. The problem we're having at the moment is if we're going to sell Onana. Will Onana leave? Onana doesn't have to leave, of course. He could say, like, I'm digging my heels in the sand. I'm not going, or the mud, or the cement, and I'm not going to go anywhere. You know what I mean? And he could be like that. He could be stubborn. You know, he could be forced out the door. He could be playing in the reserves. But as we know with this Manchester United Football Club, we're very, very concentrating on basically assets. We treat players as assets. We treat players as financial entities. We don't treat them as footballers, you know, and that is what it is. So if we cannot just push Onana out the door, we can't just push him into the reserves. I know we used to do that, but this ownership won't allow us to do that. They won't allow us to put Sancho in the reserves. Yeah, even no matter what, they won't, because we're paying 300 grand a week. You know, it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. We need to act like a football club, a serious football club, and start doing things like Helge said there, like, you know, moving, just moving, not just staying static. We get Mbeumo through the door, we get Savic through the door, and VTech back from loan. That's a great bit of business there. You know, wouldn't cost hardly anything. You know, and we have more money, obviously, if we get Mitrovic. You know, we have more money to get more other players as well. You know, the problem is people look at things from a commercial point. We're turning into Man United fans are turning into commercial entities and financial advisors and things like that, because we look at players and think, oh, look at him, he's naming bright lights and things like that. Do you know what I mean? You know, and we look at that. We look at Mitrovic, yeah, you know, plays for Al Hilal, yeah. You know what I mean? You know, look at Al Hilal did against Real Madrid. Jeff, our game against Arsenal would decide the season they're going to beat. Yeah, look, I agree with Jeff here, because I think that, you know, this is why it's so important for Man United to get a lot of the deals done. It is important because when we play Arsenal in the first game of the season, I want to see our team fit and ready to go, raring to go. You can imagine if Man United got Mbeumo, Cunha, and a striker up front, you know, and just that alone, you'll be like, the crowd will be buzzing. The whole stadium will be buzzing, won't they? You know, you can only imagine what it's going to be like. I mean, the Arsenal game, if Man United beat Arsenal, which we're capable of beating Arsenal, there is a lot of negativity around the Arsenal game. I mean, Man United have beaten Arsenal many times. We beat them with 10 men last season. We beat them with 10 men. So I don't think we should worry too much, you know, about Arsenal. But Arsenal are a good team, but they're not the best team in the world. We're capable of beating them. And if Man United manage to beat Arsenal, this could be a great stepping stone for the rest of the season. No, it's not guaranteed. We did it before. We beat Arsenal. Didn't we beat Arsenal in the third game of the season a couple of years ago when Anthony scored his opening goal? But then again, you remember when we lost to Arsenal, was it a year ago, when the Garnacho goal got disallowed? It actually can determine how your season goes. Because I believe that Arsenal game at the Emirates a year ago when Garnacho scored that goal and it was disallowed, was it a year or 2 years ago? It sort of messed us up a little bit, confidence-wise, morale-wise. If Man United beat Arsenal and then we beat Burnley and Fulham, right? If then we go and beat Man City away, which we did last season, God blimey, people will be buzzing, guys. We'll be buzzing. It just takes that. But how are we going to do that? Man United have got to do that, but to give us a greater chance of doing that, Man United have got to get the transfers through the bloody door. They've got to get it done. Get the business done. Stop taking time. 7th of July, the preseason starts. I'm waiting to the 7th of July. That's what I'm waiting for, right? I'm okay until the 7th of July. You know what I mean? Because that is when the preseason starts. If we're going to the 7th of July and we ain't got nobody, I'm going to start getting a little bit more giddy, shall I say. Sal, do you think we need a good second goalkeeper better than Vader? I think we got VTech. I think he's a good second goalkeeper. Natty, of course. Tybug, I would always be against deals like this, Martinez deal, but this case, I would be happy just not to see Onana anymore. Not prepared for one more season, but destroy our watch-alongs again. Yeah. I mean, how many times did we're in a good mood, we're doing well, and then he makes some stupid slip-up? How many times did that happen last season? You know, how many times did it happen? I mean, it's so annoying because last season we were getting momentum. and then he'll do some bozo moment, and then, people won't blame him. They say, oh, it's not Onana's fault. The defense league of Onana comes out, and then we just show him the video and say, well, if he didn't bloody give the ball away there, he wouldn't, you know what I mean? Absolutely typo, man. Helge, the retarded thing we do is we have to sell before we buy. We don't have to literally do that. We can buy and then we sell. Our club moves like we are on a spectrum. We're so slow. We are very slow, mate. But one thing, again, I said 7th of July is my deadline. When I start going like this, the teapot's going to go boof off my head. When that happens, then I'm going to start raising the ante on them. Now, look, we should be here and here we go very soon this month. I'm hoping so, and I'm hoping for at least one here we go before the end of June, right? If I don't hear a here we go by the end of June, I'm going to be very, very annoyed, because they're not keeping the fans in the loop. They're not really communicating with the fans. This is what I'm disappointed about. I'm annoyed about that. They're not treating the fans with respect. They're creating a toxicity within the club, within the fan base. Richard Rios, slow down, please. Sorry, Richard Dios, not Richard Rios. Slow down, mate. Sorry, mate, if I'm fast. I do talk fast. Sorry, mate. I'll try and slow down, but I'm very quick when I talk. I must cover about 3 shows in one. You know what I mean? That's what I do. I speak quick. I can't speak slow. I can't really speak like calmly and slow. It's me. I'm buzzing. I'm always like this. I'm always like, look, let's do this. Get up in the morning, go for a jog. Do this, do this, do that, do this. That's what I'm like. Sorry, Richard. I'll try my best. But thank you so much for tuning in, my friend. Mark, United can just do a loan deal for Ramos now as a striker, loan from Paulinho on CDM. They can get top by Costa, selling debt. Mark, there's plenty of things we can do, mate. There's plenty of things we can do in regards to compromising the transfers, and trying to be versatile. We're not versatile in the transfer market. We're very slow. We're very one-dimensional. We have one idea, and then we stick by that, and we spend all summer chasing it. Now, I thought those days were gone. It is still early days. But what I would say is that I want to see something now going on. I don't care now. I want to see things moving. Because at the moment, it's static. It's radio silence. As I said, it's radio silence. It doesn't mean necessarily it's static, but it seems static. Things could be going on behind the scenes. There could be chaos, paper flying everywhere, this, that, checks flying everywhere. We don't know that. You know what I mean? But the thing is that when we don't know, people assume and people get angry. They get upset. They go, why is it taking so long? Why is it so slow? Blah, blah, blah. One thing I'll say about Mbeumo deal is done. I'm firmly in that corner. Mbeumo will be a Manchester United player next season. Then how long are we going to take with the striker? That's what I want to know, because we need those 3 in. Minimal, right? We need those 3 in. And then what we're going to do about the goalkeeper, and then what we're going to do about the right wing back. What we're going to do about that dead midfield that we got at the moment. What's going to happen with the midfield? Are we going to fix it? Because at the moment, what we're doing, and I know what's going to happen next season, is we're going to play Bruno as the number 8. Now, I don't mind. But personally, I don't believe Bruno is a number 8. I don't believe he's got the discipline to be a number 8. The good thing is that hopefully we'll have Cunha and Mbeumo in front of him. So he won't need to go out of position too much, Bruno. And he can just get the ball forward to the likes of Mbeumo and the likes of Cunha. So that could be a point. On the CDM side of things, Ugarte, big season for Ugarte this season. Never had a preseason last year. Never had it. So this is his chance to show what he's made of. And I believe in Ugarte. Mainu, it's a little bit confusing. I think Mainu needs to be rotated as a substitute at the moment until he can prove himself. Mainu's a good player. But if the miracle happens and we don't manage to get Mbeumo through the door, we can move Bruno up to the left-sided forward, can't we? Number 10, and moving the Mainu in there. But, what I would say is that we're getting Mbeumo through the door. We have to get Mbeumo through the door. And I do believe we need another midfielder. I don't believe Bruno's number 8, but Bruno will be the number 8 next season. I'm pretty certain of that. Big up, Mark, by the way. Big up yourself. Marky Mark. Completely agree. We need players in to learn the system. Yeah, because it's not just a simple, simplistic 4-4-2, is it? We need the team to work together from the first game, from the get-go. The Arsenal game is very important. You know, I want to start the game not losing to Arsenal. It'd be awful if Man United start the season and lose to Arsenal. Can you imagine the fan base? Can you imagine the mouth on those Arsenal fans? Can you imagine Troops, Lee Gunner, Lee Cotton, I mean? Can you imagine all those people, you know, all those guys there, you know, giving it to Man United? Oh, my goodness me. Robbie, oh, well, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? I think he's a bit of a fraud, you know. You're going to have Robbie there, you know what I mean? You know, you're going to have that Jamaican, what's that, the Yardi guy, you know what I mean? You're going to have the other guy, Atatal out. What's his name? Atatal out. Bumpaglad Atatal out. That guy. You're going to have him as well, you know what I mean? So there's going to be, you know, we can't lose to Arsenal. It's as simple as that. We can't lose to Arsenal. We beat Arsenal. There's going to be a lot of positives going on about that, of course. Cornish Maid. I wouldn't be surprised if the Emmy deal is linked with one of our players. It will help us PSR on both sides. Cornish Maid, intelligent comment, very good comment. It could be. It could be. If I was a fly on the wall, you know, if I was a fly on the wall, I would know. But that could be the case. It could be to help something else. It could be a mate with someone. It could be. One thing's for certain. I know that a lot of people don't want Emi Martinez, but one thing is I'm sure about is the fact that Emi Martinez will be an upgrade to Onana. And that's it. But not for 40 million. Bill. Yeah, I heard about the Nigerian forward from Genk yesterday. Big up, Bill. Big up, my friend. Big up. Hello, Dublin Games. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're good. Good to see you. Big up yourself. Held. Liv getting 30 million plus add-ons back up for 17 Premier League starts. Yeah, well, Freedom Sancho has no buying club, but 25 million. We can't sell world-class cooking. You know why it is? Absolutely. Rashford is 40 million waste. Absolutely. You know why it is, Held? You know why it is? Because you know when you put yourself in a public eye and the publicity, you know, publicity can make you and break you. The public have made, no, the media have made and break Rashford. From no fault of the media, it's their fault, right? I know it's their fault. But our players do stupid things. Our players go to Piers Morgan and go to bloody, you know, other entities, other media companies and conduct interviews and things like that. Our players, you know, give themselves a bad name by writing tweets, you know? That's why our players are not worth much money, because our players come with bloody baggage. Now, this comes from a culture at the football club. As I keep rumbling on about the culture needs to change. And until the culture changes at this football club, we're going to still have this sort of thing. The reason that Liverpool can sell Quenza for 30 odd million is because because he's a Liverpool player, professional, gets on with his job, good player, play for England, and he doesn't make any noise. You know, our players, Rashford, Rashford, he goes out partying, he goes out clubbing, you know, he gets substance abuse and this and that and this and that. Sancho, you know what? He's a bit of a mercenary, you know, writes tweets on Twitter, doesn't perform, has flopped at Man United. It's too open. Man United are like an open book. You know what I mean? And everyone can see what's going on inside. If we analyzed every single person in this community, in the world, right? If we analyze every single person, we could pick the bones out of everyone. Oh, mate. Someone could come across as an angel in front of your face. But when you know the nitty gritty about that person, you go, do you know what? He done that time. It's a bit of a, you know, he done that to that person that time because it's exposed. You know, we expose too much. Our players are exposed too much to the media. Our players expose themselves too much, you know, and they give themselves a bad name. This is why nobody wants to go close to them. Given another thing, the fact that Man United are not very good at negotiating. People know Man United are not good at negotiation. Notoriously, Man United are not good at negotiating. Over the years, we've not been good at negotiating. I know that it's different now. Hopefully it is. So that may change over time. So there's a number of reasons for that. Liverpool are a very well-run football club. All right? As much as it pains me to say, Liverpool are an incredibly run football club. They always have been. You know? Liverpool wouldn't be moving away from Anfield like we're moving away from Old Trafford and just say, oh, it's okay. You know what? We need a new stadium anyway. Forgetting about our history and our heritage. You know, they wouldn't be moving away from Anfield. They had to buy a whole road outside Anfield, right? Until there was one house left. There was one house left at Anfield, right? That didn't want to sell. They paid that woman off to leave that road so they could build a bigger stand. You know? There's a train track Oh, there's a train track. Can't you move the train track around? Move it underground? Move it somewhere like that? Oh, it's going to be too expensive. Oh, we have to move away. No, you don't want to move away, mate. You don't want to move away. It's not about moving away, bruv. It's about the regeneration project. That's what it's about. How much money you stand to make. People don't understand this. Moving away from Old Trafford is a travesty. It's one of the worst things to happen to this football club. Big up, Tyborg. This sounds a lot about deals are not easy to anymore, but we have seen a lot of swap deals, but not anymore for some reason. Guys, big up everyone who's joined me today. Sorry I can't read out every message, but thank you everyone who's joined me. You absolute legends. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And please don't forget to smash a like on the video if you guys would be as kind to do that. And also, don't forget to put on your notifications as well. That'd be absolutely fantastic, guys. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day, great evening, great night. I'll be back later on for Chatterbox. Keep your notifications on when that comes on. And guys, enjoy yourself. Have a great Friday. It's Friday. Take it easy. Peace.